Hi there, this is Jeff Sokol, owner and founder of Beneshield Financial. I appreciate you coming to this webinar where we're going to discuss the new world of money. We're going to learn how to upgrade your money technology. So, I'm willing to bet all 10 of my toes that if you have a cell phone right now and you're over the age of 30, that this is probably not your first cell phone. Is that right? Why did you get a new cell phone? Did your cell phone break? Did you lose your cell phone? Sure. But if you found out that something better is coming out and your old stuff is antiquated and it's no longer serving you as well as the new stuff, let me ask you, are you going to upgrade your cell phone? Of course you are. People do it all the time, which is why there's lines wrapped around the block every time a new iPhone comes out, because people are upgrading their technology. We're going to teach you today how to upgrade your money technology because it's no different. You wouldn't use a 20-year-old cell phone today, and you shouldn't be using 30-year-old money technology for your retirement today either, or for your life insurance, or to take care of bills if you don't die. Okay, so we're going to show you today how to upgrade your money technology. So I assume that you got insurance, if you have insurance right now, to protect your family. But today that's still a question on many people's minds, perhaps even on yours. How do I protect my family and my financial future? So we have to be concerned. Are we going to live a long, healthy life? Are we going to get sick along the way? Or are we going to die too soon? Well, these are all different scenarios that we're going to have to cover in our daily lives to really make sure that we're all protected and that your financial future is protected in retirement and that your family is protected along the way as well. We can cover all of your needs with one affordable payment, and those needs are retirement savings, living benefits. So if you get sick, we're not talking about health insurance here, but if you get sick, we're able to give you up to 90% of your death benefit in insurance. It's called a living benefit. We'll discuss that in a little bit later. And then we're talking about life insurance. So we protect your retirement savings. We make sure you have a solid retirement plan in place. We give you up to 90% of your death benefit. So if you have $1 million face policy, we'll give you a check for $900,000 if, God forbid, you were to get sick, suffer a heart attack, stroke, cancer, anything like that. We'd be able to help you and hand you a check for up to $900,000. Would that be okay with you? I believe if you are anything like the people that I talk to on a daily basis, the answer is, of course that's okay with me, Jeff. Yes, please. Even if I only put a little bit of money into it, you'll still give me a check a month later for $900,000 or up to $900,000. That'd be outstanding. Of course it is. And then we have life insurance. In case that you were to die, unfortunately, we would still be able to give your beneficiaries a tax-free benefit, creating an estate and taking care of your loved ones in your absence. So here's scenario number one. What if I live a long and healthy life? Well, we have something that we use for that. Most of our country's retirement savings are locked up in traditional IRAs, 401ks, and 403b plans. That's not what we do here. A large percentage of this money will be lost to market risk, fees, and taxes. That's something that we don't want to lose money, right? So we don't want to lose money to market risk like we had in 2008, fees that are coming from your 401k plans deep inside the 401k plan that you may never see, and taxes. Okay, so when we talk about fees, we're not just talking about your financial advisor's fees. We're talking about other fees that are buried deep inside the plan that he may not have nothing to do with in the separate mutual funds and things of that nature. And then we have taxes. Taxes are a big deal. We have no idea how far those taxes are going to go into the future, what they're going to be at in the future. And personally, I don't want somebody named Uncle Sam who has $19 trillion in personal debt and has a history of digging in my pocket to be my partner in retirement. I want to be a little more secure than that. So we have to worry about market downturns. What can delay or destroy your retirement plan? What if you run out of money? This is a concern that we have to contend with right now. Okay, and it's only feasible, it only makes sense to take care of this right now and head it off at the pass. Does it make sense to have a tax-free retirement versus a fully taxable retirement? We're going to show you how to get a tax-free income at retirement. Now, what if there are a way to eliminate market risk, reduce fees, and eliminate taxes? Is that something that you'd like to do? Is that something you'd like to learn about? If so, stay tuned. Now, did you know today's most popular ways of saving for the future are creating some of the biggest risks in modern financial history? Most people are trying to solve a modern day problem with a 30-year-old solution, as we discussed before. Yes, that includes your retirement plans like 401ks and IRAs. Now, the big question is at retirement, will you be a dependent or dependent? Okay, so who's going to pay your bills when you retire? You want Uncle Sam to pay your bills? Remember, he's $19 trillion in debt, and Social Security may not be enough for you at that point either. Company pension, no such thing anymore. Most companies don't have a company pension like they did back in the day. They kind of started stopping back in the mid-'80s. These are becoming very difficult to come across a company pension. And I'm willing to bet that if you have a job, your company doesn't pay for its pension. IRAs or 401ks, these are tax prisons. Okay, your personal, and you have your personal savings, and this is what you've put aside. And what happened is that the 401k was supposed to supplement a company pension. However, with the advent of the 401k, people started not having pensions for their companies and just started doing 401ks only. What will your future tax rate be? This is important. Remember, Uncle Sam's $19 trillion in debt, and so we know from history that income taxes have been extraordinarily high, especially during, around the time of World War II and all that. You had really high tax rates, right? And your kids, are they going to be a source of security? Can they afford you at retirement? Can they afford to keep up with you? Can they afford to house you and feed you and all this stuff? And I'm pretty sure that most of us don't want to be in that situation, having to rely on our children and being a burden of that nature. What we're going to talk about today is Index Universal Life. Okay? It's the greatest wealth accumulation and wealth preservation vehicle of our time. Tony Robbins, I'm sure you recognize this guy. He said, invest like the wealthy, where you participate in market gains, but are guaranteed to never lose when the market drops. Tony's an extraordinarily wealthy man. I take his advice. So here's a red line versus blue line. We're talking about S&P 500, which is the red line, versus indexing, which is the blue line. What indexing means is that our insurance policy cash value is linked to an index such as the S&P 500. When it goes up, when the S&P 500 goes up, our cash value goes up, and it's locked in every year on the blue line. Every year, our cash value is locked in. When the market goes down, we stay flat. So we don't have to make up for those market losses. So right here, we're showing $100,000 starting account in 1999 to 2015. That's over 16 years. These are real numbers. Look at the difference from the indexing plan that we offer, because we can't lose money, and the S&P 500. I'll tell you another secret. Most financial advisors, Forbes magazine said 89% of financial advisors cannot beat the S&P 500. Our policy beats the S&P 500 over a period of time every single time. Every single time we beat the S&P 500, as you can see in this real life true number illustration. So indexing is very powerful, like we just discussed, but because it's got upside potential with no downside market risk. And I'm sure you recognize this guy as well, Warren Buffett. He's got two rules. Number one is never lose money. Number two is don't forget rule number one. Now, this is a great book here called The Power of Zero, where we discuss Index Universal Life. It's by David McKnight. And he said according to the Congressional Budget Office, if Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid go unchanged, they just don't have to do anything with it, if it goes unchanged, the rate for the lowest tax bracket would increase from 10% to 25%. The 25% tax bracket would rise to 63%, and the 34.9% tax bracket would go to 88%. What we're talking about here is trying to get you into the 0% tax bracket at retirement. We don't want you to pay any taxes at retirement. So we're going to use Index Universal Life because we don't have to pay taxes in Index Universal Life policy. And we'll get into more of that in a second. It's your tax code. Okay. Do you want a 401k tax code or 7702? The 401k tax code that you may have with your job creates a taxable income at retirement. Now we have IRAs as well, and they all have different tax codes, but the bottom line is it's tax delayed, tax deferred, and it all creates taxable income at retirement. Insurance policies, however, are operated under Section 7702. That's our tax code, where we have the potential, if we structure it properly, to create a tax-free income at retirement, and we always structure it properly. It's not a big deal. It's a very simple process. It's just a difference on how you want to take your money. We have several different ways, but it's either the dumb way, which is paying taxes on it, or the smart way, which is not. And we'll show you how to do it the smart way. High-tech IUL with 3 index buckets, the old way versus the new way. Well, right now we have the S&P 500. There's the gold index and the real estate index, as you see. And these things all kind of gear and churn with one another. But the S&P 500 is the way when we index these things, it's how we are getting more money in our policy with cash value. Now, let's look at the rule of 72. This is how many years it's going to take your money to double in regards to the percentage that you're getting each year. Now, I'm going to tell you that if you have a 401k, and we'll illustrate this here for you in a few minutes, but if you have a 401k and it's getting the average of what the S&P 500 got over the past 18 years, which is 3.39%, and I will take this opportunity to remind you that your financial advisor has a 90% chance of not beating, or 89% chance of not beating the S&P 500. However, if you're getting 3.39%, and let's say they're only taking 1.25 or 1.5%, but let's just say you're getting 2% right here in the very first column. You're getting 2%. It takes 36 years to double. Why? Because you've averaged 3.39%, and they're taking fees, so we're just going to say it's an average of 2%. By the time you're 61, you would have $50,000. Now, with what we do, with our indexing plan, and not losing money, not having to make up for losses, we're getting closer to 8%. I think last year it was 7.79% was our 18-year average. This year it's going to be a little higher because the market's doing well. So we have an average of 8%. If you average 8% like we've been doing over the past 18 years, your money would have doubled twice over the past 18 years. So we're looking at $25,000, and if we average 8% like we've been doing over the past 18 years, you have a retirement income or a retirement account starting with only $25,000 and not putting another dime into it, of $400,000. Now let me ask you, is $400,000 bigger than $50,000? I think that's a no-brainer. Of course you're going to say yes. So we're making our money work smarter because we don't have to make up for market losses. That's why we're getting 8%, is because we're not making up for market loss. Okay? If you have to make up for market loss, that $50,000 is going to be your reality. If you don't have to make up for market loss, look at the difference in the income. Okay? Look at the difference in your nest egg there. It's a no-brainer. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. Albert Einstein was a very smart man. So, what's our solution to living a long, healthy life? Indexed universal life. We get you up to 300% more net spendable retirement income. We eliminate market risk. We reduce fees. And we give you an income tax-free check at retirement. Also, as I will illustrate, if you put money into a index universal life insurance policy, you can be paying as little as 25% of what it costs to have a traditional 401k. And we provide you tax-free income for life. So if you live a long life, this is your solution, Index Universal Life. The new high-tech Index Universal Life Insurance policy you don't have to die to use. That brings us into scenario number 2. You don't have to die to use this. So what if you suffer a critical illness and you can't go to work? I tell you, many people are suffering critical illness and they have to empty their retirement accounts, even with health insurance, to pay for the excess medical fees their retirement account that their health insurance is not going to cover, okay? Every 10%, if you have cancer, every 10% of that copay that you have to pay, consider that to be $100,000. Every year, over 6 million Americans are diagnosed with a heart attack, stroke, or cancer. These are the numbers. 70% of these people will survive emptying out their retirement accounts. But more than half of those people will go bankrupt in the process. So 70% of them will survive. Half of them are going to go bankrupt. These are the real numbers. So here's the big question. If you get sick and you can't go to work for an extended period of time, who will pay your bills? Living benefits will pay your bills. We have 3 ways that you can access your living benefits. Critical, chronic, or terminal illness riders are included in the policy at no additional cost. Critical illness rider, millions will suffer from heart attack, stroke, or cancer. This is considered a critical illness, okay? Chronic illness, it's an alternative to long-term care. If you're considering putting money into long-term care, that's not something that you want to do. Put your money into this type of product, Index Universal Life. It gets you a lot more money in the long run, and it can start to pay off for you immediately because you don't know when this is going to happen. Another one is terminal illness rider. If they see that, hey, this guy's not going to make it, you know, his cancer's gotten so bad or whatever the case may be, definitely this guy deserves his living benefits, and the insurance company is going to write you a check for up to 90% of your living benefits. And also it says right here, 90% of people don't have long-term care insurance. So, because it's so expensive, okay? This right here, this rider covers that. And it's included at no additional cost in the policy that we provide you. Here's Dr. John. Now, Dr. John bought an IUL policy for the tax-free distribution. He loved the idea of being able to get tax-free distribution at retirement. However, he decided he wanted to put in $500 a week into a policy, into a retirement plan. That's $2,000 a month. He had the policy in force for 1 month, and he calls his agent. He goes, Bill, I want to cancel my insurance. And Bill said, and Dr. John already had some other life insurance, and so he said, so what's the problem, Dr. John? I don't understand. Why would you want to cancel your insurance? I thought you loved this program. I thought you loved the ability to get tax-free retirement distributions. I thought that you loved the idea that you got living benefits. I thought you loved all these things about the policy that are really beneficial to you, and you know, you can have money for your family should something happen. He says, I do love all those things, but I can't afford it right now. He says, what changed? What happened? Dr. John admitted to his insurance agent, Bill, that he goes, well, Bill, I don't know how I passed your physical to get this life insurance policy, this $900,000 life insurance policy, because I just took another physical for work and I have throat cancer. But the fact remains that he did pass his physical with the insurance company. And we were able to get him a check for his throat cancer for $735,000, and he only had this in place for as little as 1 month. And we gave him a check for $735,000. And at that point, the insurance company said, you know what, Dr. John? You don't have to pay premiums anymore, and we'll cover the rest. Because he had a $900,000 benefit. So upon his death, he would still be eligible for the rest of that benefit. Pretty impressive. He put in $2,000 and we gave him a check a month later for $735,000. Outstanding. Now, this is Chris Edwards. And Chris has a little story to share with you. We'll just check this out right here. And let me just tell you Chris's story because, and it's also available on our BeneShield website if you care to see it. But Chris came down with cancer. He had a policy with one of our carriers, and he, just like Dr. John, had come down with cancer, and he didn't have a policy quite the size of Dr. John's. However, we were able to get him over $650,000 for his living benefit. With that money, he was able to pay his extra medical expenses that we had discussed, and he was able to buy a house on the lake for him and his wife. He was able to help his son get a down payment for his new house, and he was able to give his daughter the wedding of her dreams. Really, really, really amazing stuff. And here's the best part. He lived, just like 70% of people do. He lived. He beat the cancer. And we gave him an estate up front to help him heal, to take away his stress. Love this stuff. This is fantastic stuff. This is why we do this. So when we're looking at living benefit riders, the funds can be used for anything, just like Chris Edwards said. He paid off his home, and actually he bought a new home on a lake. He paid off his medical expenses, or would have given him the ability to seek alternative treatment if that's what he wanted to do, because a lot of times health insurance won't pay for alternative treatment. They'll only pay for chemo. Maybe he doesn't want chemo. College funding. You want to take care of your kid's education. You have a bucket list. You want to, I don't know if you've seen that movie, The Bucket List. It was a great movie. They traveled all over the world. With this right here, you can do that. You can take that money and travel all over the world if that's what you want to do. Okay, so whatever you want the money for, it's yours. Now, they're available in 3 ways to get these living benefits, and it depends on you and which solution best fits your budget. Now, term life, guaranteed universal life permanent, okay, or index universal life, which is also permanent. If you want term life, you are renting the coverage. It will go away. Okay? It's not an asset. However, if you get sick, you get money. Okay? That's one thing that if you know for sure that you're going to get sick, which nobody does, but that's a gamble that you can make if you want to. It's the lowest cost, it's short term, and it's more expensive for the long term. So if you have a policy that you want for 30 years, it's going to be more expensive than a 10-year policy or a 20-year policy. It's important to remember that only 1% to 2% of term policies ever pay a claim. They really like this. Okay, but it's designed not to be enforced when you die. Okay, that's why so many companies sell term life, because they want to make sure that they have to pay as little as possible. This is almost a hedge, okay, for for the other products that they offer. Remember, these insurance companies enjoy the idea that only 2% of term pays off. Okay. Now you have guaranteed universal life, which is coverage up to any age, premium to any age, return or premium option, guaranteed premium, and it's designed to be enforced when you die. All right. So it's universal life insurance. It might get a small percentage per year, and then we have index universal life, which is what we have. It's coverage up to age 121. It's got cash value growth. We're index linked gains. So when the index, like an S&P 500, goes up, you make money. If it goes down, you stay flat. You don't lose money. If it goes up, your gains are locked in. If it goes down, your gains are still locked in. They don't move. We love that. Tax advantaged income. Because this is linked to growth, we can give you income for a long time. And it's a lot better than anything else that's out there. Anything that any financial advisor can give you, this is a lot better. It's designed also to be enforced when you die. Now, here's a solution. If you become critically ill and can't go to work, we give you these high-tech, no additional cost riders. There's no additional cost living benefit riders if you get sick along the way. New life insurance, you don't have to die to use. This is what we specialize in. So that brings us to our third scenario. What if you die too soon? Well, if you're gone and your paycheck is gone, how will your family survive financially? Would you want your mortgage and other debts paid off? I'm sure you would. Most people would. Would your family still need a reliable monthly income? How long would they need this income? Okay, how many years is it until you retire? If you make $100,000 a year, how many years until you retire? If it's 30 years, well, we've got to make up for that income for your family, don't we? Life insurance benefits are income tax free. Okay, so if you make $100,000 a year, we don't have to replace $3 million worth of income. We just need to know what your take-home pay is. Okay, so what's your take-home pay, and then we'll get into some other scenarios as to what other things need to be paid off. But we can start with that basic one, right? What's your take-home pay? Multiply that times 30. That is the amount of insurance that you need to cover that. So the solution, if you die too soon, is a new high-tech IUL life insurance that you don't have to die to use. You can choose term, permanent, or index universal life to fit your family budget needs. And a lot of times we'll have a combination of term and index universal life to have both worlds of a great investment and ultimate protection at the same time. So the universal solution, if you live a long time, if you get sick along the way, or die too soon, one of the three is going to happen to you. All three benefits for about a fourth of the cost of a traditional IRA or 401k. New high-tech IUL insurance, you don't have to die to use. You get income for life. You get no cost, critical, chronic, and terminal illness riders if you get sick along the way. And we give you traditional life insurance, tax-free distribution if you die too soon. So here's our major question. How much can you put away to secure your future? How much are you putting away right now? Well, we can go with the next step, and that's a needs analysis. It's a very simple way to see what we have and what we're working with and see what we can do. And we're going to prepare one of these for you, prepare a personalized needs analysis, completely 100% confidential, to create an affordable strategy for you that will let us find the money to fund your retirement. Again, we're not trying to find new funds here that are you're going to have to come out of pocket to go into debt on. We want to see what you're doing right now and what we can change for the better. So here's a sample of needs analysis. Let's call the husband. He's got $25,000 in consumer debt. Okay. Final expense for a husband. We recommend $25,000, but $15,000 will get the job done. He has a mortgage of $250,000. He's got 2 kids, so education at $100,000 per child. Any income that we replace for, let's call it 10 years. Okay, we want to replace his income for 10 years, and he makes $36,000 a year, so we'll put that in there. He needs life insurance of $850,000. Now, let's say he's putting away, that he can afford to put away $250 a month. How much extra do you have right now that he can afford to put away? $250. Right now he's paying a life insurance premium of $100, and he's making a 401k contribution every month of $425. He's also getting a tax refund of an average of $150 a month that we can put in there. And so the total retirement monthly budget for this gentleman here is $925. He also has non-qualified funds, which are in an IRA. That are not in an IRA. It's just in a savings account. He's got $25,000 in a savings account that's after tax, and he also has $105,000 of qualified funds, which are in an IRA, a 401k, or 403b plan. Now let's look at his wife. Okay, this guy's already got something set up, which is fine. This guy is a perfect candidate for what we do. You may be in a similar situation to him. Now, let's look at his wife. She's got $25,000 in consumer debt. Final expense also $15,000. Mortgage, we want to pay the mortgage off if she passes as well. It'd be $250,000. $200,000 for the children's education, and she has a $24,000 a year income. We want to replace that for 10 years. It's $240,000. So her insurance needs are $730,000. Stay with me here because we're fixing to get to the good part. She can afford to put away $100 a month. Her current life insurance premium is $85 a month. She has a 401k contribution monthly of $300, and she has a tax refund of $100 per month coming in. So she's able to take $585 is what she's able to put away comfortably into a better solution, into a better plan all the way around, which is what we offer, is our Index Universal Life Plan. She sees it, she understands it, it's a great deal for her. There's no way that her 401k can compete with what she's doing right now. Her other insurance doesn't pay living benefits. This is a great deal for her, and she's excited about it because here's what we're going to do. We're going to take this information that she's just given us, and we are going to say that she's got $55,000 a year in qualified funds, or $55,000 total in qualified funds, but we can't move them. Okay? We can't move that $55,000 because she's still employed, and they won't let us move them in her 401k, which is fine. But we can stop the bleeding. That $55,000 is going to be there, and that's okay. When and if she wants to, she can move that money. So, here's the IUL solution. What are we able to do for this kind lady? We're going to say that her $55,000 is not movable. But we do have a planned monthly contribution of $585. Total, that'd be $7,020 a year. The total lifetime contribution over 30 years is going to be $210,600. It would give her an income tax-free death benefit of over $479,000 with living benefits at age 70, up to $1 million. For chronic illness, it's going to be different depending on the illness, what those living benefits are. And terminal illness of up to $1 million, depending on the size of their plan. Annual income at age 70 is going to be $53,130. Now remember, she only put in $210,000. Her annual income is tax-free, $53,000. Taxable equivalent at 33% is over. That's a little low. The $70,000 is a little low. It's going to be over $70,000. Total income at age 85, going with our plan, total income at age 85, given what we've done over the past 18 years, she'd take out $796,950. If she dies at age 85, we are going to give her heirs $439,233. Why? Because as we're giving her tax-free income from her plan, her cash value in the plan does not change. It keeps on growing over the next 15 years of her retirement. So if the market goes up 10% and she's only taking out 4% of her total plan, or she's only taking out 5% of her total plan, she's 5% to the positive that year. Okay? So let's compare apples to apples here. What this is a very difficult to follow if you can't see my mouse, but hopefully you can see my mouse right here. We have a monthly investment of $585. Now we're going to compare apples to apples. We're going to look at a 401k plan that she has right now, if she stays with this plan, and we're not going to even consider that she has the $55,000 already in there. We're just going to compare apples to apples here. So her total contribution would be $210,600. At a 33% tax bracket, she'd be able to have, with what the S&P has done over the past 18 years, at 3.39%, her 401k is getting a 3% fee every year, which we discussed. And after retirement, we're going to give her a 1.25% fee. We're going to drop that fee down to 1.25%. Her age is 40 right now. She wants to retire at 70, and she has 30 years to invest. So, if they want to make that income, that plan last to age 90 only, age 90, she'd have to take out $13,000 a year, pay $4,400 in taxes. That would give her an income of $8,800 a year. Now, I'm pretty sure you'd agree with me if I told you that this is not enough money. $8,800 a year. She saves $210,000 and gets $8,800 a year. That's with your government plan, okay? And it only lasts for her to age 90. Then she's out of money. With our plan, if she tries to match me, if her financial advisor tries to match me at the $53,000 I'm going to give her off of this same plan, she's out of money by age 73. I give her money until age 120. $53,000 a year projected over the last 18 years. We can't lose money in our program. I give her $53,000 a year until she's age 120. Now, she'd be really lucky to live that long, but they can't match us. Now, this is only taking out 4%, okay? So let's go back here for a minute. Dave Ramsey recommends to not run out of money, you take out 4%. And hopefully you don't live past age 90. So going on with Dave Ramsey's approach, taking out 4%, that's the $8,800 that you come to, okay? It's not enough money to live on. I'm going to give you $53,000 to age 120. And if your 401k advisor tries to match me, or your IRA advisor tries to match me, you're going to be out of money by age 73. And I don't think anybody wants to be out of money in retirement. But let's say that your 401k advisor might tell you that, well, Jeff, you're going to get 100% match. If your employer is giving you 100% match in your 401k, you don't get a match if you go with that Index Universal Life policy. You don't get a match in that. Keep your match. Make sure you get that match. It's free money to you. Like they used to tell me, it's free money to you. Go ahead and get that match. Well, we're going to go ahead and check that out too. So let's say that your employer is so nice and he's going to give you a 100% match of everything that you put in your 401k plan. Boom, right here. I've even taken the liberty of dropping the fee from 3% to 1.25%, which is very unrealistic, but I'll do it just for illustration purposes. You've got a 100% match here and $421,000 total investment into your 401k. Your total plan value at this point, your government 401k plan value is $590,499 based on a 3.39% annual growth rate, which is what the S&P 500 has done over the past 18 years. We're going to assume that your taxes are going to stay at 33% over the next 30 years. They probably won't because, well, let's face it, Uncle Sam's $19 trillion in debt as it stands right now. Again, with your 4% coming out, you're doing a little better. With 23,000 coming out, okay, 23,000 would get you to the finish line if he gave you a 100% match. However, with the 210,000 right here, I am able to beat. This is not, again, this is not an apples to apples scenario. All right, this is an unrealistic, not going to happen scenario, but this is not an apples to apples. Your plan has your government plan has 421,000 in it. I'm going to take half of that and put it in my plan. I'm still beating Uncle Sam because you're gonna have to have an income of $23,000 a year versus my $53,000 a year that I'm able to give you with my plan. Not only that, to match that, you have to withdraw almost $80,000 a year, pay taxes on it. Get this $53,000 and you're out of money by age 78. Who in their right mind would say, I want to stick with my government plan, make less than 50% of the money in retirement, and be out of money by age 78? You realize that if you live for another 20 years, which in 30 years, that's highly possible that you'll be able to live to age 100, you're still getting 300% more income at minimum because of we're giving you 300% more retirement time at minimum, 400% more time in retirement at minimum. Not to mention we're giving you more than double your fees. I mean, more than double your income at retirement per month and per year. 23,000 and 53,000. We're giving you an additional $30,000 a year. It's a big, big difference, and I really, really hope you can see that. Now, this is something that is a really good deal for you. You know, this is something that I've seen time and time again, where people just don't listen, and the market goes down. We don't know what happens with North Korea. We don't know what's going to go on next in the stock market. We don't know what the big banks are cooking like they did in 2007, 2008. We don't know what's going on with all that market stuff. Nobody has a crystal ball on the market, especially not financial advisors. They do the best they can. They're all good people as far as I can tell. I love financial advisors. Many financial advisors are good, close friends of mine. We just have very different methods of the way we help our clients. Full disclosure, some withdrawals, if you take withdrawals, which is the dumb one, may be subject to surrender penalties imposed by the company. Okay, amounts withdrawn may also be subject to tax liability or tax penalties. Partial surrenders and loans may affect policy values and death benefits. We get around all this stuff. Okay, we don't put you in a situation that's going to be a taxable situation for you. Okay. This material has been prepared for the informational and educational purposes only. It's not intended to provide and should not be relied upon for accounting, legal, tax, or investment advice. And why is that? Is because this was not tailored specifically to you. Life insurance products are products of the insurance industry and are not guaranteed by any bank, federal agency, nor are they insured by the FDIC. However, there are other things that insure and reinsure insurance companies. In the past 160 years, nobody has ever lost money in a life insurance policy of this nature, or an annuity. Okay. Thank you very much for attending this webinar. I really hope I was able to help you. If there's anything at all that you need from us, you can find our information right here at benishieldfinancial.com. Please don't hesitate to give me a call if you have any questions regarding this. I love you. Look forward to talking with you in the future. God bless you and take care. Bye-bye.